Hello friends, welcome back to Strategic Management. Last session we talked about business level strategies and how to make business level strategic choices. At this juncture of our course, we are talking about what kind of decisions in terms of strategic management we have to take for strategically managing value chains, wherein we are talking about strategic steps which we have to take, and the level of sphere of our discussion has been at the business level. Business I talked about in my earlier sessions also. It can be termed as profit center also, it can be termed in terms of the geographic span of the business also, it can be termed in terms of product and product category also, product line also. So, the way we define our business, and at that level if we are making some strategic choices, then definitely we are talking about business level strategic choices, wherein in the last two sessions in fact I tried to focus upon how cost and differentiation has to be considered. And when we talk about red ocean perspective, then there is a peculiar relationship between cost and differentiation, and when we talk about blue ocean perspective, there is a peculiar relationship between cost and differentiation, which is slightly which is a divergent view definitely. And you see, we have talked about substitutions and alternatives and near substitutions or near alternatives long back, and the complete sphere which we have built upon as far as our decision making at the levels we are now deciding is a guiding force as such. We talked about EVs last time, we talked about Mahindra's last time, and we talked about other companies which are not so known basically, so we talked about them as well. Now, the point here is that how those kind of decisions, those kind of strategic choices which we are making in terms of achieving goals and objectives have to be dealt with from over the top. What kind of elements we have to take into consideration when we have to look at a larger span. Last time we talked about that if for example we are focused upon a very limited geographical area in terms of a business organization which is localized, then business level and corporate level strategic decision making might be very close to each other, wherein we do not have to think in terms of too much of a distinction as far as the whole decision making perspective goes. Even functionalities would merge somewhere. I would be talking about functionalities in brief terms, but here and last time I tried to elaborate upon business level and functional level strategic choices which have a thin diminishing thin line between these kind of things, and a diminishing line wherein they overlap each other many a times. But at this juncture we are focusing upon corporate level strategic choices, and how do we think of, how do we understand what are corporate level strategic choices, how to make such kind of choices, why to make such kind of choices, in what conditions do we have to make such kind of choices, and so on. But before I go ahead with as far as corporate level strategic choices in the pyramid which we talked about last time, I would carry forward the discussion we have had in the last session briefly to generate a chord between the business level strategic strategy and business level strategic choices with the corporate level strategy or corporate level strategic choices which we have to make. Let us see. So, to generate a chord, we were talking about designing and strengthening business strategy, and we talked about 6 elements which I would slightly elaborate upon, and then we will go ahead with as far as corporate level strategic choices. So, business strategy is the development, alignment and integration of an organization's strategic initiatives to give it a competitive edge in the market. We talked about that last time, but just to reiterate, devising a business strategy can ensure you have a clear plan for reaching organizational goals and continue to survive and thrive. Organizational goals. There are 6 steps to design a business strategy. One is define your purpose, assess market opportunity, create value for customers, create value for suppliers, create value for employees, map strategy to actionable tasks and KPIs, key performance indicators. Now, let us slightly elaborate on these 6 elements. Define your purpose. So, when formulating a business strategy, initiating with a clear definition of your organization's purpose can serve as a beneficial initial step. By commencing with purpose, your organization can cultivate greater value in the long run. What business we are into, what business we are pursuing, what is the purpose of this business. And you see, you talk to a restaurant owner, you talk to an organization which has several restaurants in different parts of the country. You talk to Dunkin' Donuts, talk to McDonald's, they define the purpose of their existence with a different kind of a perspective. They are not just serving food actually. So, they define a particular kind of a purpose, and that is how they choose business level strategic choices. That is how they define even many times the products they would serve. They would go for, if they want to go for integrating some different kinds of burgers or different kinds of product offerings, they would definitely, some kind of drinks, they would definitely think in terms of what business we are into and what is the purpose of the business actually. So, and then second element is assess market opportunity. Examine the competitive landscape within your market, identify the companies that hold market shares. It's like, I remember my younger brother, when he used to go to his class, in younger days when we were in school. So, my father always used to, speak to him lightly. So what would be the end result this time? So, he would always confidently say, so I would be the topper in the class. He was confident, he was like that. So, and then when he used to enter into the class, he always used to ask that who comes first in this class. So, and what were his or her marks last time, so that he creates a benchmark and crosses the thing. Market share is all about that basically. What is your market share, what kind of sales volume you have, what kind of a growth potential of the company has, and here I go. So, I think in terms of bypassing that, it is very simple kind of thing basically, and you see, you should be charmed about that. The point is that whenever you think in terms of business level strategies, if you are not actually confident, and if you do not have that kind of a conviction, if you do not have that kind of an innovative perspective on pursuing those kind of business level strategies, you might not be able to do that. So, that is where the managers, and that is who, if people amongst you are managers and they are pursuing those kind of strategies, or they are part of pursuing those kind of strategies, they must be charmed about that. So, identify the companies that hold market shares. Who are my competitors? I was working with media, and every morning we used to analyze, what kind of ads or advertisements or revenue the other competitor is generating, and why the clients are moving towards them, and what kind of clientele they are having, and we are not having that. So, let us focus on that and let us fight for that, and if we are going for blue ocean, let us bypass the competition or make the competition irrelevant through different kinds of schemes, different kinds of products which we may offer to them. So, what sets your competitors' products apart from yours? What is the differentiation point? And you see, whole of this world is associated with, I should not be saying dilemma of differentiation, but differentiation is the key word actually. In Hindi we call a word called Brahm, that is, somehow we are different than others, and we have to pursue that and project that, even if all the humans are alike. But still, humans differentiate between each other. They try to project that differentiation with different kinds of abilities, different kinds of perspective, different kinds of competitions actually, different kind of competitive zeal, and different kinds of experiences they share with each other in terms of, for example, sports. We organize sports to prove that we are better, as far as we have some unique abilities. We keep the records, we scores and runs for cricket basically, so that we can differentiate between the players, their abilities, and so on. We have created markups, we have created measurement criteria for differentiation. Market share, sales are measurement criteria, customer satisfaction is measurement criteria, business growth is measurement criteria, organizational life cycle span is measurement criteria, and so on. Although every organization may have similar offering, every builder may have similar kinds of apartments which they are constructing, but still they try to create a differentiation, and that is where what sets your competitors' products apart from yours. Same buildings, similar houses, still there is a difference. Are there any underserved needs that your organization could address? Undertaking this research prior to strategizing is crucial for pinpointing how your organization delivers distinctive customer value. Distinctive customer value, you see, that is what we have to prove in front of the customers. Distinctive customer value, and for uncovering opportunities for further innovation. Where can I improve? How can I improve? Distinctive customer value can be justified through distinctive positioning also, but then that positioning has to be justified. So, there are several ways through which we can think in terms of distinctive customer value, and this is just a food for thought. And last two sessions we spent on as far as customer orientation, customer value, wherein we emphasize that business level strategic choices are associated with satisfying customer needs with value perspective. So, third is create value for customers. With an understanding of market and your company's purpose, you can determine how your organization provides unique or greater value and strategize ways to improve that. On the spectrum of value, the portion appreciated by customers is termed as customer delight. I am so happy to get this product, I feel good, I feel charmed basically. This was the dream sort of thing basically. This can be heightened by elevating their readiness to pay or reducing the product's cost. I am eager to pay for that, whatever it is, just take the money and give me the product basically, I just want to have it. If reducing the price isn't feasible, brainstorm ways to augment the product's value for customers, thereby boosting their readiness to pay. Getting them associated with this dream product. Many a times that can be a brand perspective, that can be a referral kind of a thing basically, that can be a narrative around the product and so on. Many a times it happens because, for example, you ask a young boy or girl to what kind of a bicycle they would like to have, they would name some brand and they would love to have it, and once they have it in front of them, they feel charmed about it. Same happens with motorbikes, same happens with movies. We are going enthusiastically to watch a movie and somehow we wish for that we like that movie and we enjoy that movie and so on. Every tourist places, airlines, experiences, whatsoever we wish to think of. Fourth is create value for suppliers. It's strategic management, ladies and gentlemen, and we are talking about strategically managing things or value chains, and value chains, suppliers are integral part of the value chains basically. So, that is why create value for suppliers. In addition to creating value for customers, you also need to provide value for suppliers. Suppliers can include any company that provides raw materials, labor and transportation to help your organization produce goods or deliver services. I remember a senior executive of Patanjali was telling me that they procure from different kinds of farmers, and when they procure they try to convert those farmers into their customers as well later on by associating them with their finished products. While purchasing things from them, they are paying for that, but then they are converting them as customers also, and the farmers in the vicinity of their production plants are benefited with different kinds of other things basically. For example, they associate them with different kinds of tasks and so on, and even sometimes provide energy to them for different kinds of things which they for which they require energy and so on, or kind of electric energy or whichever way they can support them. Some school education, some health education, and those kind of things are also there. So, strengthening your suppliers. Supplier surplus, also called supplier delight, emerges when the cost of materials rises or the willingness to sell diminishes. The interaction between a company and suppliers can sometimes be adversarial, as both aim to enhance their margins. However, avenues exist to generate value for both the entities. And you see why I named Patanjali? The point is that many a times the relationship with the suppliers is just transactional, and they try to find out the what best kind of value they can generate from the side of the producers and the organizations they are supplying to. But in case of organizations like Patanjali, when they are associated as beneficiaries with the organization, they are associated as customers with the organization as such also. So, that makes a different kind of a composite relationship, wherein they are not just looking for the transactional kind of deals, they are looking for a complete composite deal, getting associated with organizations like Patanjali for a lifetime more or less, and remaining with them as an integral part of that organization. Next is create value for employees. Create value for employees is a critical part of an effective business strategy and can be assessed using the value stick. Think of your employees as the supplier of labor and the supplier margin as employee satisfaction. Very important thought, and this is Catherine quote, October 25, 2022, how to develop a business strategy, 6 steps, business insights. It is a blog of business strategy wherein we have taken these insights from the author, and these are good clues which the author has given. So, creating value for employees. Now, employee satisfaction can be increased by raising wages or lowering the minimum salary they are willing to receive by delivering value in other ways. But in many cases, organization is so much satisfying, the experience with the organization, working with the organization is so happy, healthy, satisfying, enduring, that you just feel like spending your lives with that organization and contributing there meaningfully. So, satisfied employees may provide a better customer experience, resulting in increased customer delight. I remember I used to monitor employee retention for many organizations for quite some years, and I remember organizations like Bata, they had huge employee retention. Indian Institute of Technology, where I work for, I can assure you that it's almost 100%, 99.99% kind of employee retention. I have heard that ONGC, Oil and Natural Gas Corporation of India, Indian Oil Corporation, and these kind of several kinds of organizations, they have wonderful employee retention, and that translates into their growth and customer experience and so on. So, now let us shift our attention towards corporate level strategy and corporate level strategic choices. So, having focused upon goals and thinking in terms of how to achieve those goals through business level strategic choices, we are moving now towards what kind of a corporate level strategic decision making we have to do in terms of corporate level strategic choices. Here we are, this is the part of the pyramid we are focusing upon, corporate level strategy. Look at this organization we have admired, we have been talking about with different kinds of references. Now, and there are other such organizations, for example, 3M, Reliance, Adani and other effectively, how do they manage their business effectively? That is what is the point of concern. These are large corporates, these are large corporations, and have you thought about this? How they integrate everything, how they still being diversified, what kind of a corporate decision making they are doing as far as the from over the top situation goes, and leading so many organizations parallelly, wherein those organizations, they also have their own leadership, they also have their own boards, how things are being managed, how things are being collated and directed. It's a complex process, but still these organizations are doing that. It's a beautiful kind of a mesh they have created, but it's structured, it's very well woven and has to be understood with lots of care and lots of deeper understanding. So, let us see at Tata Group, Tata Asset Management Companies, Tata Steel, Tata Capital, Tata Singapore Airlines Consortium, Singapore Airlines Company, Tata AIA Life, Tata AIG, Tata Consultancy Services and so on, Tata Motors, Tata Projects and so on. And you look at other conglomerates also, you look at Mahindras, you look at Birlas, you look at Reliance, we have been talking about several other kinds of organizations also. So, look at their kind of perspective, how do they do things in terms of as far as managing things at corporate level. Let us try to have a glimpse of how these things are done, how these things are steered. This is just to give you a view that this is a task, this is really an effort which has to be generated for managing things at that level, decision making at that level, what kind of decisions are being taken, what kind of strategic choices are being made, how they do that. Let us focus upon that. So, corporate level strategy specifies actions a firm takes to gain a competitive advantage by selecting and managing a group of different businesses competing in different product markets. A group of different businesses competing in different product markets. So, different businesses, different product markets. Firms use these strategies to diversify their operations from a single business competing in a single market into several product markets and most commonly into several businesses. Differentiation, diversification has an element of integration also, we will see that. But again the point is, the story surrounded by or surrounds these two Ds, differentiation and diversification, and is surrounded by these two Ds, differentiation and diversification. Corporate level strategies help companies select new strategic positions that are expected to increase the firm's value. What do you remember by hearing this word value? What do they do? When we talk of different businesses competing in different product markets and strategies to diversify their operations from a single business competing in single market into several products and most commonly into several businesses for increasing the value, what actually we are doing. So, let us just imagine, you see, if we are a single product company, let us say, After a particular stage, when we go through a product life cycle, analysis of that particular kind of a product, you would be developing the line of that product by creating a variant here somehow. This variant may address the same market. If it is that, then okay, fine. But if this variant is going for a different kind of a market, different kind of a consumer behavior choices, and those kind of things are there, and then different level of business level, differentiation business level strategy has to be pursued, then a different variant goes. So, up till now this story is basically largely in terms of maintaining the sphere around that original product which you have produced, and that is where corporate decision making and business level decision making are slightly closely associated. But then one fine morning you have acumen, you have technology, you have raw material access, you have human resource, you have core competencies wherein you can serve the same customer with a different product line as well. So, you do that, and here you are horizontally expanding. One fine morning you realize that okay, suppliers are similar in both the cases. For example, we are an agri product supply based kind of a company, for example ITC, in many cases their suppliers are similar. So, why do not we actually go for differentiated supply and go for another product line more or less. So, keeping that supply common, we are going for different kinds of product lines here. So, one more. And then we realize that one of the product lines or one of the products from the product lines has to be marketed somewhere abroad. One can be done here somewhere, one can be very localized, one can be in the rural areas, one can be in the semi-urban areas, one can be in the urban areas, one can be in the globalized market and so on. And there you start differentiating as far as, and then there would be a different competitive space. Somewhere you would be in blue ocean, somewhere you would be in red ocean, somewhere you would be, or altogether you would be in blue ocean somehow. Those kind of things start coming up. Then one fine morning you realize that, well, now we have created a brand value and somehow customers know us for consumer products, and similar customers, they might think in terms of putting their trust in us in terms of, let us say, apparels. We have that kind of an orientation also, and again we are resorting back to the farmers because probably we would be procuring cotton to produce textiles or a series of clothes and apparels and so on. So, you go for a completely diversified business into apparels, for example. Then you realize that we are trying to target a particular kind of a customer, and probably that customer can know us for different kinds of other things also. Can we think in terms of going for hotels? And here you are diversifying from this space to that space and to that space and to that space. So, while keeping somewhere the similar supplies for few, then utilizing the same acumen and the same market orientation and the same market support for going for extreme diversification also. For having a common brand image across, you are going for extremely diversified kind of businesses also. So, you see, if somehow this in the process what you have done is you have created several value chains. And if you have created several value chains, so one of the value chains is associated here with this value chain, and this value chain is associated with this value chain, and this might be completely separate. This might not be associated actually with other value chains, but still some brand value element is associated as far as these all value chains go. And if this value chain is associated with second one is associated with third one, or third one is associated with the first one straight away, that is the acumen and the customers, the human resource, the technology, the research and development, the basic supplies, and the processing is associated with the first one also somehow. So, what you are trying to create is you are trying to create a value web also. Corporate level decision making, ladies and gentlemen, is largely about creating different value chains or expanding the current value chain or chains you are handling with a span which others might not be able to cover, and then developing meaningful relations between the different value chains which you have already generated, creating a meaningful value web. At this stage, I can say that we have reached to a point where we can, we can express with conformity somehow that corporate level strategy, corporate level strategic decision making is actually all about strategically managing value chains and developing value webs. I promised that someday I would be reaching to a point wherein I would be filling in this blank, strategically managing things with value chains and then subsequently with value webs. You may call those value webs, you can call those value nets, because at every node which this net is composed of, every node there is a value derivation which one has to do, which one has to maximize for customers, for suppliers, for whole of the value chains associated with that kind of a thing basically. For example, you have a chemical plant and you have something which some other plant or a manufacturing unit which can be a buyer from that chemical plant, apart from that you are supplying to open market to other people also, but you are supplying within your units as well. For example, you have a steel factory and you are producing steel as well as composites which can be utilized by your automotive plant as well, automotive sector also. For example, you are very good at retail and you have a software development setup completely associated with yourself, and on the other side you have large number of retail customers, and then you are moving towards producing movies, and then you first you have become an OTT platform and then you are producing your own movies and software, and then you have several other kinds of associations with you. Am I referring to Amazon and Amazon Prime at this moment? Can you think of that somehow? And can we think of Disney as a conglomerate, having hotels, having entertainment business, having these ships, cruisers basically, and so many other things which are integrated with each other. If you will look at the landscape which Disney has created, you would realize it's a completely integrated web which they have developed in due course of time, wherein they have associated almost every kind of a customer, and this kind of an acumen of software development enters into movie and several other kinds of entertainments, and Disneyland is always there, and their hotels are there, and several kinds of things are there, and customer cords are there, and supplier cords are there, and human resource cords are there. Everything is associated with everything. A huge interconnected web, a mesmerizing world of corporate level strategic choices which Disney has been making. I will be catching up back with you shortly with details of the nitty-gritties associated with corporate level strategy and corporate level strategic decision making. Till then, just remember that we are talking about strategically managing value chains and developing value webs. I will come back to you. Till then, goodbye.